much against left-handed hitters as the Astros have. All right, time to play ball. From here on in, it really counts. The Dodgers and the Astros, and now for the play-by-play, here's Jerry Doggett.
Thanks, Ross. Hi, everyone. Well, the last time they saw Nolan Ryan here was a no-no. And now they're trying to get a little measure of revenge, and this is quite a matchup. The veteran right-hander, flamethrower, against the kid, Fernando. And we're all set to play, and the money is on the line now as this ball game gets underway before a big crowd in the dome. First pitch is a strike. Fastball to Davy Lopes is in and over. Davy, who's been in and out of the lineup most of the year, getting a start tonight against Ryan. The pitch on the way to Davy. Curveball stays up high. 1 ball and no strike. Lopes hit .206 on the regular season, had only 4 hits and 28 at-bats against the Astros, and played in only 58 games. About half. Here's the pitch on the way to Davy. A swing and a miss with a breaking ball. Ryan, when he pitched his no-hitter a week ago last Saturday, had a good breaking ball to go with a fastball that he said was only ordinary for him, around 92 miles per hour. But, of course, he's been clocked a lot faster than that. So the Dodgers looking for the first hit against Ryan in a while. Nolly into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch on the way to Davy is taken low for ball 2. 2-2. Lifetime against the Dodgers, Ryan has won 2 games and lost 8. He won 1 as a member of the Mets, and he won 1 last week as a member of the Astros. Game 1 of the series, Ryan to the windup, and the 2-2 pitch to Davy. Bouncing ball up the middle behind second base goes Garner. Off balance throw gets it. So Davy Lopes grounds out. The second baseman Garner had to retreat to his right, go behind the bag to make the play. And that'll bring on Kenny Landreau. Landreau hitting .251 with 7 home runs and 41 runs batted in. A productive season against the Astros, 13 hits and 2 home runs. So Landreau had a home run against Nepper in Sunday's ball game and has shown signs of coming out of that slump that really plagued him for a long time. He had 3 hits in Saturday's game. Now the pitch from Ryan. Landreau takes in on the knees, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Landreau with 3 hits on Saturday, 1 on Friday. Hit 5 hits over the weekend against Houston at Dodger Stadium. Ryan's 1-0 pitch on the way. Ground ball up the middle, and there goes the no-hitter as Landreau slams one back to the middle, and Kenny all of a sudden has become ignited again as he was earlier in the year. So he now has had 6 hits in his last 4 games against the Astros. And here's Dusty Baker. Baker had 14 hits on the year against the Astros. That was the top number by a Dodger player. 9 home runs, 49 runs batted in, and he wound up hitting .320, one of his best years ever. Landreau with a lead off first base. Cedeno holds him on. The look over. Ryan's over his shoulder at him, and the pitch to Baker, a breaking ball that's low, 1 ball and no strikes. Ryan, of course, was the earned run champion of the league. His earned run average, a dazzling 1.69. And he acquired that in 21 starts and a total of 149 innings. See if the Dodgers decide to run when Landreau gets 1 foot on the carpet, draws a throw from Ryan, and he's back under the bag in time. Landreau during the year stole 18 bases. He was caught 4 times. So we have 1 on and 1 out in the first inning. Ryan up with the arms. The look over at first base again. The pitch on the way. Runner going and a foul down the left field line, out of play. So they played hit and run, and Baker pulled it away foul down the left side. Dodger official party is here in from Los Angeles, headed by Dodger President Peter O'Malley and his wife Annette. Dodger Vice President Al Campanis and Bill Sreppy. Director of Scouting Ben Wade. Vice President Fred Clare. The whole group is here to give the Dodgers a little extra encouragement. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Landreau off first base again, a pretty good lead. Ryan throws over there again, and Kenny's back standing up. We have 6 umpires working the game. Dale is at the plate. Quick, Davidson, McSherry around the infield. Wire in left field on the line, and Montague on the right field line. A 1 ball, 1 strike count. Ryan against Valenzuela here tonight in the Dome. Baker takes one on the inside corner for a strike. Dusty pulled away, but the ball apparently caught the inside corner on him, and it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Baker's hit fairly well in the Dome in his career. Garvey's on deck. All right, a 1-2 count. Landreau again a good lead, and the pitch to Dusty. Bouncing ball to Ryan. Back to second base. To Garcia, one to first base, double play. Even though Landreau went in and took Garcia down, they got the double play, 1-6-3. Baker hit it back to the box. The Dodgers are gone in the first. No runs and a hit. None left on in the score at the end of the half inning. Dodgers nothing, and the Astros coming to bat. Now let's pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers Radio Network.
This is Ross Porter. Join me with Dodger Replay Monday through Saturday on the Ken and Bob Company right after the On the Hour Network News on KABC, Los Angeles.
Okay, Fernando concludes his warm-up tosses and ready to go with the Astros coming to bat. And they will start off with left-hand batter Terry Poole, followed by Garner, and then by Scott, a switch hitter. Okay, Terry Poole, a left-hand hitter hitting .251, batting in the leadoff spot. Facing Fernando, who's facing the Astros now for the fourth time this year. He has beaten the Astros twice, lost to them once. He shut them out twice earlier in the year. The windup and the pitch to Poole. Fastball for a strike in at the knees, 0-1. Fernando's lost 3 games in a row, and the last one he was shut out by San Diego 1-0. Now the next pitch to Poole, inside for a ball, and the count goes to 1-1. Fernando making his 4th start since his last win, which is against the Braves, a shutout at Dodger Stadium on September the 17th. The 1-1 pitch to Poole, ground ball to Garvey. It'll be a foul ball off into the first base coaching box to Bobby Lillis instead. Fernando beat the Astros back on opening day at Dodger Stadium 2-0, and another whitewash in Houston April the 22nd when he beat Don Sutton 1-0. So Fernando, a prime candidate for Rookie of the Year honors, into the windup, and the 1-2 pitch is just a little low for a ball, and the count 2-2. Jerry Dale is the home plate umpire, calling balls and strikes. The Astros had a very good second half at home. They won 17 and lost 6, and at one time they reeled off 12 in a row. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Poole, the right fielder. Bouncing ball to Garvey near the line, and he carries it in for the out, 1 away. So Poole pulling one and bouncing it fair down the line. 1 down, and here's Garner at bat. Garner, a .248 batting average for the full year, 1 home run and 26 runs batted in. Garner has an Astro hit .239. .248 overall. Garner, right-hand batter. Call him scrap iron. Swing and a miss at a good Fernando fastball, strike 1. This is quite a classic matchup, at least on the record, where Valenzuela 13-7 against Ryan 11-5. Game 1 of the series, and tomorrow it'll be Royce against Necro in Game 2 right here. Here's the pitch. Scroogie just missed outside, and it's 1-1. Warm-up time tomorrow will be 9:45. We have an afternoon game. In fact, it's just afternoon, 5 minutes past 12. Here in Houston is our starting time tomorrow. Okay, a 1-1 count with 1 out. Fernando checks, looks, and deals to Garner. Breaking ball, chopped away foul, and the count is 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fernando led the league in 4 individual departments. Shutouts 8, complete games 11, innings pitched 192, and strikeouts 180. And, of course, he was second in games 1 with 13. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Outside, he turned it over a little bit too far, 2-2. Now the stretch. And the 2-2 pitch on the way. Screwball struck him out swinging. So Garner lunges for 1, and down he goes. There are 2 away, and the batter will be Scott. Tony Scott, the center fielder, a switch hitter, batting from the right side. .264 batting average, 4 home runs, 39 runs batted in, and he was 3 for 30 against the Dodgers. All right, Scott at bat, and Fernando ready to go. Works from the third base side of the rubber. Screwball is in there for a strike 0-1. It is very close to a capacity crowd, although there are a lot of empty seats upstairs in the yellow sections. That's their top deck here in the Astrodome. Now the pitch. Foul tipped on a curveball, strike two. So the crowd should be somewhere around 40,000, although with the day game coming up tomorrow, they do not have a sellout as yet. Which reminds me to remind you that there are still tickets for the games in Los Angeles. General admission and some box seats are still available on sale each day, and we advise you to pick those up tomorrow or Thursday. His strike three call, fastball got him looking, and down goes Scott, and Fernando gets the side out in order. So at the end of one inning of play, no score. We roll along to the second inning of the game. By the way, in case you missed it this afternoon, in the American League, the playoffs began at Kansas City with the Oakland A's beating Kansas City by a score of 4-0, as Norris beat Leonard in that ball game, 2 home runs. And the A's jump off to a 1-game lead. Okay, here's Garvey now to face Ryan as we go into the second inning. And Nolan into the windup, and it's pitched to Garvey in there for a strike 0-1. They had 40,000 at Kansas City today as Oakland pounded out 8 hits, home runs by Gross and Murphy. Here's the pitch on the way. Garvey fouls one back out of play, strike 2. Tomorrow it will be the Dodgers here at Houston, and Philadelphia opens up the playoff series at Montreal, while in the American League, Oakland plays at Kansas City, their second game, and New York and Milwaukee play their first game. Here's the pitch to Garvey. Looped into right field. Poole coming up for it. He's there and makes the catch. So Garvey taking his shot at right field, but it hung it in the air. And we have one away with Rick Mundy coming on. Rick Mundy, a .315 batting average, 11 home runs, 25 RBIs. Mundy actually is playing instead of Ron Say. And Say took batting practice for the first time tonight and hit a few balls very well. Ronnie was very encouraged about the workout, but of course he is not eligible for the mini-series, so-called division championship. But in case the Dodgers were to get through this, Ronnie would be eligible if the Dodgers see fit to put him on the list for the league championship series, which would begin next Tuesday. Mundy looks at a breaking ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Mundy's had a terrific year. Mo with a .315 average. 2 for 7 on the year against the Astros in limited play. Guerrero is out on deck, and Socha to follow. Ryan against Valenzuela in a classic here tonight at the Dome. Now the pitch. Mundy looks at a fastball outside, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. In the no-hitter, Ryan was a little wild in the early innings. He walked 3 early, and then he strung them out and closed out the Dodgers in the last 6 innings with nothing. 2-0 to Mundy. Ryan, both feet on the rubber. Rocks to the windup, and the pitch on the way. Outside again, ball 3, and it's 3 and nothing. 1 away. Garvey flied to right. We had a lot of rain in Texas here the last 2 days. Boy, it poured down yesterday and again today. Now the 3-0 pitch to Mundy. High and inside, he's on with a walk, and the Dodgers get their second base runner of the game, and Guerrero comes to bat. Pedro wound up the year hitting an even .300. 12 home runs, 48 runs batted in, and he was 13 for 37 against Houston. So he had a good season against the Astros. Mike Socha on deck, and Bill Russell to follow. Mundy on with 1 away. They pinch Guerrero just a little bit up the middle. And Pedro now ready to go with Mundy on first, and the pitch on the way is a breaking ball that's high, 1 ball and no strikes. Noli now has come up with 5 straight bad ones. And looks down at umpire Jerry Dale as if to say, where was Allen? And Dale says, well, I don't know, but it wasn't a strike. I don't know either. I'm watching it on replay because Guerrero dipped with the ball. And here's the pitch to Pedro. Foul upstairs, out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. A 1-1 count to Guerrero. Mundy with a walk on it first. First game here in the Dome. The Dodgers on the road for the first 2, then the following 3 will be at Dodger Stadium. There's a check swing foul, third base way out of play. 1 and 2. Of course, baseball purists will tell you that if the Dodgers were to split the two-game series here, they would have a definite advantage going home. But that doesn't always hold true. The Dodgers were 30 and 24 on the road, and the Astros just barely above 500 on the road. Now the look and the pitch on the way is a strike-free call to Guerrero. And down he goes. So that's the first strikeout for Ryan. Now here's Mike Socia at bat. Socia, 276 average, but against the Astros, he's had a horrible year. 2 hits and 30 at bats. Here again is the look and the pitch on the way. Breaking ball down low. 1 ball and no strikes. One 0 count. And the pitch to Mike on the corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Once more the stretch and the look and the pitch to Socia. Popped up foul off third base behind the Dodger dugout, and that'll be back in the stands and out of play. A 1-2 count. All right, Socia out of the batter's box a moment, now back in. Runner on first base Monday with 2 out. Garvey flied out. Monday walked, and Guerrero called out on strikes. Socia now trying to keep it alive for Billy Russell, due up next. Here's Ryan with the arm stretched. The look and the pitch to Mike. Foul back upstairs, and it's still a 1-2 count. Socia was hitting around 300 in late August, but he then tailed off during the month of September and wound up hitting 276. Not bad for his first full year. Okay, a 1-2 count. Monday awaits at first base. Cedeno holds the pitch on the way. Half swing, strike, and dropped by Ashby. Records the out at first base to retire the side. The Lion gets 2 strikeouts. The Dodgers gone in the second. They leave a man, and the score going to the bottom of the second is 0-0. Here's Jose Cruz coming on as the Astros bat now against Fernando here in the second inning. Cruz hit 267 for the full year, but he had 13 home runs, 55 runs batted in. Jose backs off to the on-deck circle to get the pine tar rag from Cesar Cedeno. So Jose back in the on-deck circle. Fernando standing on top of the mound, ready to go. Okay, here is Cruz coming up. Cruz against Fernando on the year had 2 hits and 10 at-bats. Cedeno on deck had 4. Here's the pitch to him. Fly ball to left field. Dusty Baker up a step or 2. Now picks up the ball and makes the catch for the out. Dusty lost that ball for a minute, apparently. He'd get up there in the maze of the superstructure overhead, and Dusty had a little trouble picking it up, but the ball was hit high enough. He didn't have to move very far and made the play. Here's Cedeno at bat. Cedeno against Fernando had 4 hits and 10 at bats this year. That's the most by an Astro player. So Fernando has shut them out twice this year. And lost to them the last time he pitched against them. All right, Fernando takes a little walk down behind the mound. Okay, ready to go. Cedeno into the batter's box. 1 out, nobody on. Second inning, and Fernando to the windup, and here's the pitch to CC. Down low for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss, and Cedeno jumped right out of his shoes going after that one, spinning all the way around after a screwball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fernando lost to the Astros, and Don Sutton 4-1 here a week ago last Sunday. Now the 1-1 pitch to Cedeno, off speed, and he missed with it just inside. 2-1. Cedeno started to jump all over that screwball, but let it go by. 2-1 the count. Ball game is in the 2nd inning. Now the 2-1 pitch. Fastball, a little low ball, 3-1 to Cedeno. Art Howe is on deck. Three balls and a strike, 1 away. Cedeno a half swing. Strike 2. Cedeno's on his way to first base, and he's being called back. And he had dropped his bat, gone almost over halfway down there, and Jerry Dale said, "Hey, come on back here. You ain't going anywhere." Cedeno had a half swing, but Dale ruled that he'd gone too far. That was a pretty good call. He went spinning around. All right, 3-2 to CC. They tried to decoy somebody into giving a base on balls. All right, Cedeno at bat. Fernando all set. Signed from Mike Socia. The pitch on the way. Popped up foul. That'll be out of play up on the screen. Count holding. 3-2. The late arrivals are still coming in, filling up those vacant seats that we spotted earlier. The crowd should be in excess of 40,000 for the game. All right, a 3-2 count. And the pitch. Bouncing ball up the middle. Base hit to center field. So Cedeno singles to center. Bounce one right over the middle. And that'll bring on third baseman Art Howe, who wound up hitting .296, the highest average for a Houston player. Art Howe had a very good year, including a 23-game hitting streak. The Dodgers come to double play depth now. They have Guerrero, Russell, Lopes, and Garvey on the infield. And Cedeno, who loves to run, is on at first base. Here's a look and a throw over there. Cedeno has stolen 12 and caught 7 times. One on, 1 out. And the pitch on the way to Howe. Breaking ball, a little low. 1 ball and no strike. 1-0 the count. A 1-0 count. Right-hand hitter. Art Howe waits at the plate. Cedeno short lead and a throw over there, and Cedeno, almost caught going the wrong way, gets back on the bag. Here's the check again on the left. Cedeno off first base. Fernando looks over there and goes over there. And again, Cedeno gets back. The Dodgers have had 2 base runners. The Astros have their first one on there now. Cedeno on, and he is a definite threat to try to run, and the Dodgers know that. Fernando looks, checks, and again goes to first base. He's going to try to catch him moving. And so far, Cedeno's been a very cautious runner. Well, they might call a pitch out here in a minute. Let's see if they do that. All right, a 1 ball, no strike count. Fernando checks the look, and again a throw to first. So Fernando, the rookie, has the poise of a veteran out there. He knows what he's doing. Trying to keep from making any mistakes. Here's the look again, and the pitch to the plate. Fly ball into right field. Mundy coming up. Fort Moe's there calling. And handles that one for the out. Sounded like he broke his bat on that one, did Howe. 2 down, and Garcia, the batter. Kiko Garcia getting a chance to start. It was a decision between Garcia and Dickie Thon for Bill Verdon, but he opted for Garcia because of his experience in playoff games while in the American League with Baltimore. And even though Thon had done very well against left-handers and especially against Valenzuela, he was 3 for 9. Verdon said, well, I had to make that choice, and went with Garcia. Runner goes, pitch out, throw to first base, and he's just back. Cedeno was going, and the pitch out was called, and Cedeno put on the brakes and slid back in ahead of Scioscia's throw to first base, and he just did get back. Boy, you talk about big league reflexes. Cedeno was braking, he saw the pitch out called, and he stopped and made a quick 360 and beat it back into the bag head first. All right, 1 ball and no strikes. Cedeno a short lead. Here's the look now, and a throw over there, and again he's back. Hands through, but that's the pitcher's play. He's got to keep that runner on there. Can't let him take a lot of advantage of you. All right, Fernando looks again, and there he goes. Here's the throw to second base. He's safe. Cedeno, despite all the efforts of the Dodgers, beat a good throw to Billy Russell. And the throw might have been just a shade high. If the throw's down at his feet, might have had him. Billy had to bring it down, and that was the difference. The pitch to Garcia, a swinging strike. So now it is 1-1 on Garcia, who might be a tough cookie up there with a man in scoring position. Here's the pitch. Ground ball wide of third. Guerrero up with it. Here's his throw to Garvey in time, and the inning is over. Guerrero made sure that he got a good grip on the ball to throw at Garcia. No runs into hit, and a man left. The score at the end of 2, 0-0. Some other members of the Dodger official family downstairs, Roley and Terry Seidler. Lou and Millie Carlisle, the captain of the Dodger Boeing 720B. We got quite a gathering of Dodger fans in the Dodger box down behind the dugout on the third base side. Here's Bill Russell at bat now. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers Radio Network.
Headline newsmakers, provocative guests and conversation, mornings 9:05 to 1. I'm Michael Jackson, KABC, Los Angeles.
Ryan with a windup, and his first pitch is low and away ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Time called by the umpires for a moment. Looking around to see what's on the field. But everything apparently okay. All right, Russell waiting. 233 batting average. Ryan winds, and the pitch is high for a ball. The Dodgers won 8 of 12 from the Astros this year, but they were all even here in the Dome. They won 5 out of 6 in Dodger Stadium. Now the 2-0 pitch to Billy. In there for a strike, 2-1. Russell will have an operation on the ball of his foot after the season to relieve a stress fracture that's been bothering him for the last year or so. So now we're in the big money, and he's ready to go all out. Pitch inside, ball 3. 3-1. The appeal at first on a half swing, but Russell did not go around. 3 balls and a strike to Billy, with Fernando Due up next, and then Davey Lopes. 3-1. Ryan set, and the pitch is in there, 3-2. Fernando out on deck. Nolan into the windup, and the 3-2 pitch to Russell. Popped up foul off the third base side. Chasing it is Garcia and Howe down in the Dodger bullpen, and it's Garcia, the shortstop, to handle it. So Russell pops up to shortstop, 1 away, and the batter will be Valenzuela. Fernando hit 250 on the year. So he did a few things, well, a lot of things right, including hit the ball very well, 250 batting average. The Dodgers play the Astros in Dodger Stadium Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Saturday evening at 4:45, I believe, is the starting time then, and Sunday afternoon. And general admission tickets and a limited number of box seats for this series are on sale. Fernando lines one foul in the seats behind the Dodger bullpen area. He really sliced that one down there. 105, 5:15, and 105 are the game times. Saturday 5:15 game. Here's the one-strike pitch to Fernando. Swing and a miss at a fastball by Ryan. 0-2. General admission tickets are priced at $3 and box seats $10, and there are some available. So do your shopping tomorrow or Thursday. Fernando bounces one back to Ryan. Noli has it and lobs to first base for the out. So there are two down, and Lopes will be the batter. But there are still some tickets available, so we hope you make your plans and be with us for the Divisional Championship Series. Fernando walks slowly back toward the dugout, and the fans boo him a little bit. All right, Davy Lopes waiting in the on-deck circle for Fernando to get to the dugout. Now Davy comes up, grounded out his first time up. Davy's been bothered off and on by a bad back, but he's ready for the playoff series, and he's in there now. All right, Ryan ready to go to Lopes, and the windup and the pitch on the way. Foul upstairs, out of play, strike one. Say is missing from the infield quartet, of course, but he is here and took batting practice and would be activated maybe if the Dodgers survive the divisional play. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Lopes. Lined at first, caught by Cedeno. Cedeno a little late on that ball, sliced it right to Cedeno, and the Dodgers are gone in order, and the score going to the bottom of the third is 0-0. So they kind of even things up and almost a standoff. Here's Ashby coming on, switch hitting catcher. Last of the third inning. Ashby's had a good year. .271 batting average for Allen. Ashby, as a right-hand batter, hit .300 right on the nose, but he only had 40 at-bats right-handed. Takes a screwball outside, and appealed by Socia. No, said the first base umpire. And it's strike one. And we'll check that count. Ball one, no strikes. Fernando ready to go again in the pitch. That's a little low, ball two, and it's 2-0 with Ryan on deck. 2-0 reading. Fernando goes back off the mound, down on the carpet, rubs up the ball. Into the windup he goes, and the pitch on the way. In for a strike, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Dodgers in their road grays along the third base side. The pitch on the way. Strike 2 with a screwball called, and it's 2-2. Fernando struck out 2 in the first inning. Ryan struck out 2 in the second inning. No score. We're in the bottom of the third. Now the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to shortstop. Russell deep in the hole. Long throw to Garvey in time. 1 away. So Ashby rolls one across the carpet. 1 down, and here's Ryan at bat. Ryan as a hitter, not bad. He has 11 hits and a .216 batting average with 1 RBI. So Noli coming on. 1 away in the third inning. With Terry Poole up next. The Dodgers on the year were shut out 5 times, including 2 in the last week by San Diego. The Astros shut out 9 times during the year. Both staffs turned in 19. Next pitch is low for a ball, and the count is 2-0. 2-0 the count. 1 out in the third inning. Dodgers and the Astros, game 1. Now the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 2-1. Fernando, 13-7. 2.48 earned run average. 3-1 lifetime against Houston. Ryan swings at the Scroogie. 2-2 to Noli. They play him straight away and not too deep, although he had a home run last year in his first at bat against the Dodgers. Screwball struck him out swinging. So that's strikeout number 3 for Valenzuela. And the batter will be Terry Poole, who grounded out his first time up. Poole, the batter. Well, I'll tell you, with these two guys pitching in on their past reputations for the year, it figures to be a low-scoring ball game. Ryan had 3 shutouts. Fernando had 8. Ryan had started 21 games. Fernando 25. Now here's Poole, the left-hand hitting leadoff man. Fouled it away on the ground. Strike 1. There's a ground ball rolled across toward Davy Lopes. Davy has this one, slings it across to Garvey, and the Astros go quietly in the third, and the score through 3, 0-0. Well, we go along to the 4th inning, scoreless. Ryan against the kid, Fernando. And for more play from the great indoors, here's Vin Scully. Vinny?
Thank you, Jerry. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you, wherever you may be. It's just about as advertised, just about as predicted, a tough pitching duel between Fernando and Nolan. In the 4th inning, each side with 1 hit. Ryan has struck out 2, and Fernando has struck out 3. The Dodgers have not been able to get a man to second base. They've had 2 men get to first, and the Astros got 1 man to second base. That was Cedeno, who singled and stole second. So into the 4th inning we go, no score. Kenny Landreau, a hot hitter of late, he singled in the 1st inning. So Landreau hitting .251 for the regular year, waiting at the plate and trying to start something in the 4th. Ryan ready, buzzes a fastball high, ball 1. Tommy Lasorda said before the ball game that if there was one thing he was going to do differently than the last time against Ryan, he would have his hitters make Ryan throw a strike. There's a strike, and the count 1-1. In other words, they were going to come up and take a little more than normal until Ryan could prove he had his control. Because once he proves he's had his control, there's no sense taking anything. The 1-1 pitch is outside, ball 2, 2-1. Because if Ryan is on the plate and you go up there taking a strike so that you're hitting behind all the time, you are in desperate trouble. Here's a 2-1 pitch on the way, and Landreau swings and doesn't get it, and the count 2-2. The Dodgers did well at home against Houston. They won 5 out of 6, and they split the 6 here. But, of course, all of that is washed away. That's water over the dam. It's what happens as of tonight. Ryan into the windup, and his 2-2 pitch is swung on a 1-hopper at Garner. Phil stays with it, throws him out. So 1 away in the 4th inning, and Dusty Baker, the batter. Baker hit back to the box in the 1st inning, banged into the double play. So Dusty 0 for 1. 1 out, top of the 4th inning, no score. Game 1 to try and decide the winner in the West. Then Montreal and Philadelphia will do the same, trying to decide the winner of the East, and then another collision. Dusty Baker takes a strike, and the count 0-1. And, of course, Oakland already got a leg up today, shutting out Kansas City 4-0. Norris beat Leonard, home runs by Gross and Murphy. The pitch to Baker is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Although it is a sellout here in the Astrodome, there are plenty of empty seats. There are a lot of folks, I'm sure, decided not to come because of torrential rains an hour or so before game time. Baker fouls a pitch away off to the right out of play, 1-2. Ballpark in the world where they had a game canceled because the crowd and the players couldn't get in. It's the only rained-in game, as opposed to all the rainouts we're accustomed to seeing and hearing about. That was a couple of years ago. And there was some concern, of course, the last couple of days we might have a problem because of the torrential rains, but fortunately we got by it. 1-2 to count to Dusty Baker. Nolan Ryan delivers, and there's a ground ball to short. Kiko Garcia over to first in time. You know, it is interesting, and I guess it's a point of irony, that we are indoors in Houston, completely oblivious to the bad weather outside, and the game will go its merry way. And maybe, in a sense, when you stop and think about it, that is our service to you today. Maybe we have invited you inside to get away from the angry winds of a violent world. After the terrible tragedy that happened in Egypt, maybe our purpose tonight is to give you an hour or two a respite from all of the pain that there is in the world, all the pain we seem to be inflicting upon each other. Garvey takes outside, ball 1, 1-0. Ryan into his windup. Nolan comes back, 1-0, and Garvey takes low, ball 2, 2-0. Now it will be interesting. Normally you'd say, well, Garvey's going to be swinging 2-0. Well, let's just see. If he's taking 2-0, it might be part of that plan to test Ryan's control, although we're already in the 4th inning, and he's walked only 1, and he has not been wild. So the 2-0 pitch to Garvey is swung on, a comebacker, and that's that as Ryan throws to first. So you don't have to worry now. 2 things have happened. Ryan has proven that he has his control, and the Dodgers are no longer going to make him throw a strike. But they're gone in order. That's 8 in a row retired by Ryan at the end of 3.5 innings, no score. Bottom of the 4th inning in the great indoors at Houston, no score. The Astros and the Dodgers, Fernando Valenzuela and Nolan Ryan. Phil Garner, Tony Scott, and Jose Cruz in that order. Garner struck out in the 1st inning. He's 0 for 1. So Phil Garner, the right-hand hitting second baseman who knows what it's like to be with a winner. His days with Oakland and with Pittsburgh. And now he's hoping that 3 times is the charm with Houston. Garner hit .248 during the year. Fernando into the windup, and the first pitch to the Garner is a curveball hit down to Russell. Bill gloves it, takes a little time, and then throws him out. 1 away. For Nolan Ryan, he has retired the last 8 in a row since he walked Rick Monday. For Valenzuela, he has retired 6 in a row since he gave up the single to Cedeno. And now here's the switch hitter, Tony Scott. Hit about .218 as a right-handed batter, and that's the way he checks in against Valenzuela. Fernando ready, delivers, slow curve, a 1-hopper to Guerrero. Pedro lobs to Garvey, so quickly, a couple of pitches and 2 out. Jose Cruz would be the batter. Cruz flied to left in the 2nd inning. And, of course, they love him here. A solid hitter and Mr. Clutch for Houston all year. So with 2 out in the 4th inning, no score. Fernando into the windup and delivers, and the breaking ball is strikes. He hadn't thrown a screwball in this inning, although he hasn't made many pitches anyway. 0-1. He got Garner on a breaking ball to Russell. He did the same thing to Scott, who hit it to Guerrero. And the breaking ball swung on and missed 0-2. Cesar Cedeno on deck. Of course, that's one reason why Bill Verdon didn't hesitate about playing some left-handed hitters against Valenzuela. You don't figure to see too many screwballs from this side of the plate. Fastball over. Strike 3 called. 8 in a row retired by Valenzuela, and that would be his 4th strikeout. And at the end of 4, no score. We're going to the 5th inning here in the Astrodome. No score. Each side with 1 hit in a somewhat similar game. The Dodgers have 1 hit, a single by Kenny Landreau. The Astros have 1 hit, a single by Cedeno. Nolan Ryan has retired the last 8 in a row. Fernando Valenzuela has retired the last 8 in a row. Ryan has struck out 2. Valenzuela has struck out 4. And in the 5th inning, the Dodgers will have Rick Monday, Pedro Guerrero, and Mike Scioscia. Of course, we already had a shutout in this mini-series. That would be over in the American League today, where Oakland blanked Kansas City 4-0. Ryan looks in to get a sign from Alan Ashby. Nolan into the windup, and the first pitch to Rick Monday is fouled back to the screen, and the count 0-1. An infield of Cesar Cedeno and Phil Garner. Kiko Garcia at short. Somewhat of a surprise to see Garcia in the starting lineup. And a third, Art Howe. Jose Cruz in left. Tony Scott in center. Terry Poole in right. This would be the 61st different lineup used by Bill Verdon this year. But, of course, last year they said he used 97 different lineups on way to winning the West. Monday swings, doesn't get it, and the count 0-2. Manny Motor coaching at first. Danny Ozark over at third, but the Dodger coach is out of business so far. Almost totally unemployed. The Dodgers had Landreau single, but he never got to second. He was erased as Baker hit into a double play. Monday walked in the 2nd inning, but stayed at first. 0-2, the count to Rick Monday. Ryan into the windup. Now the strike two pitch, fastball to drive him away from the plate, and the count 1-2. Nolan's throwing hard. Not only are there something like 125 members of the media here, along with photographers, television people, but there are scouts from everywhere. As many as 3 and 4 scouts from one team. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Rick Monday, and that's low, ball 2, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to Monday, top of the 5th inning, no score, each side with a hit. So this one is living up as advertised, a brilliant duel between Valenzuela and Ryan. Ryan studying Ashby's signs. Monday backs off for the moment. Ryan lines up slightly off center. His feet are actually pointed away from home plate. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. He blows Monday down with letter-high fastballs inside. That's the 3rd strikeout for Nolan Ryan. And it will bring up Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero struck out in the 2nd inning. Because going back when Ryan struck out 11 Dodgers, he got almost everybody. In fact, the fellas he didn't strike out aren't playing tonight. The pitch over for a strike. Ron Renicky did not strike out against Ryan in 3 at-bats. Darrell Thomas didn't strike out. And he got everybody else at least once. He had Lopes twice. And he had Socia twice. His feet are actually pointed away from home plate. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. He blows Monday down with letter-high fastballs inside. That's the 3rd strikeout for Nolan Ryan. And it will bring up Pedro Guerrero. Guerrero struck out in the 2nd inning. Because going back when Ryan struck out 11 Dodgers, he got almost everybody. In fact, the fellas he didn't strike out aren't playing tonight. The pitch over for a strike. Ron Renicky did not strike out against Ryan in 3 at-bats. Darrell Thomas didn't strike out. And he got everybody else at least once. He had Lopes twice. And he had Socia twice. 1-1 to count to Pedro Guerrero. When Ryan pitched his no-hitter, perhaps the hardest hit ball in that entire game was a drive by Socia to right center field that was flagged by Terry Poole. But tonight's the night, and the 1-1 breaking ball over for a strike, and Guerrero flinched, pulled his head out of the way, and the bottom dropped out of the pitch. Seemed like an impossible pitch to hit. So a great breaking ball thrown by Nolan Ryan, and the count 1-2. Ryan has retired 9 in a row. Because he did a lot better than that when he had his no-hitter. The 1-2 pitch is lifted to right center field. Tony Scott on the dead run because the ball is hit far, and Scott runs it down for the out. 2 down in the 5th inning. Mike Socia, the batter. No score in the ball game. Game 1. Tomorrow, remember, warm-up time at 9:45, game time at 5 minutes past 10. Jerry Royce and Joe Niekro. Then Thursday, an open date, and they'll play Friday afternoon at Dodger Stadium. Then Saturday and Sunday if necessary. Ryan ready and delivers. Socia holds up, and the pitch is low. Ball 1, 1-0. By the way, there are still general admission and some box seats available for Friday's game, as well as Saturday and Sunday. So why not get them at the Dodger ticket office on Stadium Way while we're out here in Houston? Pitch picks up the outside corner for a strike, and the count 1-1. So you want to be in on all the fun, all the excitement at Dodger Stadium on Friday, and there are seats. So we hope you'll take advantage of it. 1-1 to Mike Socia. Ryan ready, back he comes. Fastball low. Gets away from Ashby, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. 340 down the lines, 390 up the alleys, and 406 to straightaway center. Not only a big ballpark, a cool ballpark. Temperature about 72 degrees, so the ball always travels better in warm weather anyway. This is a very tough ballpark in which to hit a home run. The 2-1 pitch is hammered to right center field. Back goes Poole, back goes Scott. On the track is Poole to make the catch for the out. And had this been a little warmer, that's out. At Dodger Stadium, that's out. But not here in the Astrodome. And at the end of 4.5 innings, no score. Marvelous ball game. Bottom of the 5th inning. 2 fine pitchers, Nolan Ryan and Fernando Valenzuela, each allowing the other team 1 hit. And we're scoreless in the bottom of the fifth. So before we get to more excitement, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers Radio Network.
Headline newsmakers, provocative guests and conversation, mornings 9:05 to 1. I'm Michael Jackson, KABC, Los Angeles.
In the bottom of the fifth inning, no score. It'll be Cesar Cedeno, Art Howe, and Kiko Garcia. Nolan Ryan has retired 11 in a row. Fernando Valenzuela has retired 8 in a row. Cesar Cedeno, on a 3-2 screwball, fouled it off. And then Cedeno saw Valenzuela come back 3-2 with a fastball, and he hit it up the middle for a base hit. So now they lock up for the second time. Guerrero near the bag at third. Garvey is deep and very wide of the bag at first. Fernando into the windup and delivers. Curveball hit foul on the roof of the Dodger dugout, and then skipping back up a good 8 or 9 rows. 0-1. And a chant here in the ballpark. Astros. They have a cheerleader in the left field bleachers. 0-1 to count of Cedeno. Fastball in there for a strike. 0-2. Remember how he struck Cruz out with a fastball right down the middle, and Jose looked like a rabbit staring into a light. He was just frozen at the plate. 0-2. Art Howe on deck. Valenzuela looking in, Sosa shuffling cards behind the plate. Strike 2 pitch on the way. Fastball just outside. Ball 1. 1-2. We're in the bottom of the fifth. No score. The Dodgers have had 2 men get on base, nobody to second. The Astros have had 1 man get on base, and he reached second. 1-2 to Cedeno. Who was that man? No runs, 1 hit, no errors for each side. Fernando checking into his windup, and the 1-2 pitch. Fastball low, ball 2. 2-2. The pitching has been so great so far that a 3-ball count is looked upon as a rally. The count is 2-2 to Cedeno. Fernando squinting in, picks off his sign, and the 2-2 pitch outside with a screwball. So for the second time in their 2 meetings, they go 3-2. Now the last time, Fernando threw a screwball 3-2, and Cedeno fouled it back. And then the next pitch was a 3-2 fastball, and he singled to center. Both men are going over their cards, figuring out how it's going to be played. And let's see. Cedeno back up. Fernando ready. 3-2 pitch. Screwball and a high pop fly into shallow left. Baker a late start, but the ball is high enough for him to get under it. You don't get a big jump here a lot of times because of the spider work, the lattice work holding up the roof. And Baker taking a lot of time before he actually took on the move. And here's Art Howe. Howe has flied to right. That was in the second inning. Art 0 for 1. Howe playing with a damaged Achilles tendon, so he's been playing in pain for quite some time. And he has a date with the surgeon's knife when this season is over. 1 out, bottom of the fifth, no score. Howe asking for time, backs out. Now the right-hand hitting third baseman climbs back in. Fernando into the windup and delivers. Slow screwball. He just kind of flicked that thing up to the plate outside. Ball 1. The Dodger family is here in full force, headed by President Peter O'Malley. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. Good screwball. The bottom dropped out of it. 1-1 to count to Howe. Bob Lillis coaching at first. Don Leppard around at third. Bill Verdon at the wheel in the dugout. Fernando staring down to Sosa. Now the left-hander ready, and the 1-1 pitch to Howe. Fastball, low and away. Ball 2. 2-1. Bottom of the fifth inning, no score. A brilliant duel between Ryan and Valenzuela. This one is really worth seeing. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Screwball hitting to right field. Base hit. Monday up with the ball. Howe makes a turn and holds. That is hit number 2 for Houston. And after retiring 9 in a row, Fernando gives up the single to Howe, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Kiko Garcia. Garcia grounded to third in the second inning. Right-hand hitting shortstop, hit .272 for the Astros during the regular year. Fernando hands it aside, and Howe, with a bad leg, takes his lead at first. Fernando delivers, fastball fouled away, off to the right, out of play, 0-1. You certainly don't expect Howe to do any running, but at the same time, just because you don't expect it might be the very reason they would turn him loose. Howe hit .296 during the regular year and stole 1 base. But, of course, as we told you, with that bad hamstring, it's hard to believe they'd have him moving, even though the chant begins of go, go, go. Fernando strike 1 pitch to Garcia at his feet, 1-1. Warm up tomorrow, 9:45. Game time at 10:05 with Jerry Royce and Joe Necro. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kiko Garcia. On deck, the switch hitting catcher, Alan Ashby. Fernando, a look at Howe. Back to the plate. Ground foul outside of third and down the line. And the count 1-2. Baker over to clear it off in the left field corner. Ron Say, in uniform, although not eligible to play, but he did take extensive hitting before the game. And Say allowed to stay in uniform and is in the Dodger dugout, lending, if nothing else, as much moral support as possible. No score, 1 out in the 5th. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count to Kiko Garcia. Valenzuela's screwball is fouled away, and it's still 1-2. Fernando 13-7 during the regular year. 2-1 with Houston. Both of his victories were shutouts, and he's 3-1 lifetime. Fernando came in here with a 3-game losing streak. And, of course, one of those 3, you remember, a bitter 1-0 loss on an unearned run to San Diego. Valenzuela staring in, Garcia waiting. Now Valenzuela looks at Howe, back to his hitter, screwball a little high. That was the slow screwball. It took almost an eternity to get up there. Lasorda doing a little cheerleading in the near corner of the Dodger dugout, hand clapping, waving a fist and hollering out at Valenzuela. 2-2. What was it Tommy said about Valenzuela earlier this year? To me, he looks like Robert Redford. 2-2. Fernando at the belt. Looks at Howe. Throws over there. Picked him off. Art Howe. Picked off by Fernando. He had him leaning all of Howe's weight on his right leg, and he tried to correct and get back, and he was done. Boy, Fernando, with all of his other abilities at 20, has a good move to first. I can't tell you how many runners we've seen charging back to the bag when he comes to the plate. And that time he got Howe going the other way. Now the 2-2 pitch to Garcia, swung on and missed strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Fernando. And at the end of 5, no score. Five innings in a tremendous ball game. The Astros, no runs, 2 hits. The Dodgers, no runs, 1 hit. Fernando has struck out 5 Astros. Ryan has struck out 3 Dodgers. So locked up, no score. We go to the 6th inning. Bill Russell, Fernando Valenzuela, and Davy Lopes. Bill Russell popped to short in the 3rd inning. So Bill 0 for 1. Russell hit only .233, but he hit over .300 against Houston this year. And he pokes one foul off to the right of the plate, out of play, 0-1. So it's all over. The original theory the Dodgers had about making Ryan throw a strike. Now you have a hitter like Russell hitting 8th, swinging at the first pitch. The strike 1 pitch, swung on, a 1-hopper to short. Garcia up with it, and Kiko throws him out. That's 12 in a row, retired by Nolan Ryan. Remember, the only Dodger hit was a single by Kenny Landreau with 1 out in the 1st inning. And Fernando Valenzuela coming up. Valenzuela hit back to the box in the 3rd inning. Fernando 0 for 1. So the phenomenal Fernando swings, doesn't get it. The wunderkind of the National League and of all of baseball. I wonder what the Spanish is, the Wunda Nino. They'll have to get the Spanish word. The pitch is fouled away 0-2, and of course that'll be easy. They'll talk to Jaime Jarrín and Rudy Hoyos, the Spanish version of Wunderkind. 0-2. Fernando up there with Davy Lopes on deck. Ryan steering in, now Nolan into the windup, and the strike 2 pitch, fastball inside. 0-1, 1-2. Dodgers no runs, 1 hit. So in the last 14 innings against Nolan Ryan, they have 1 hit. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Fernando. On the corner, strike 3 called. That's 4 strikeouts for Nolan Ryan. And with 2 out in the 6th inning, it'll be Davy Lopes. Lopes grounded to second and lined out to Cedeno. And Rudy is here. Rudy, you know when you have a phenomenal youngster, here's the first pitch to Davy Lopes, check, swing, strike. And you would call him a wunderkind, a child who has been given remarkable gifts and talents. Now, I know for child it would be Niño, but what would be the wunderkind for in Spanish?
Niño maravilloso or joven maravilloso. You would say in his case, it would be joven, means young man, maravilloso.
Maravilloso?
Also marvelous.
Yeah, right. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Bless you, Rudy. Rudy Hoyos. The 1-1 pitch. Lopes takes low. Ball 2, 2-1. Gracias. Muchas gracias. 2-1 to Davy Lopes with 2 outs, 6th inning, no score. Nolan Ryan into the windup in the 2-1 pitch. Davy fouls it back in the count 2-2. Well, any way you say it, it's Fernando Valenzuela and Nolan Ryan. What a marvelous show. You talk about welcome to the big leagues, welcome to the pressure of this championship series. It's a beauty. No score in the 6th. If there's an edge, Ryan, he's allowed only 1 hit. Valenzuela has allowed 2. Valenzuela has struck out 5. Ryan has struck out 4. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed and make it 5. That also means 14 in a row retired by Nolan Ryan. And at the end of 5.5 innings, no score. In case you find it interesting, Rudy Hoyos came back with yet another as far as the Spanish equivalent of wunderkind. And that would be Niño Prodigio, which would mean a child prodigy. Well, he's out on the hill. Fernando has allowed a single to Cedeno in the 2nd inning and a single to Howe in the 5th, while striking out 5. He has not walked a batter, and he'll be working on Alan Ashby, Nolan Ryan, and Terry Poole. Ashby, the switch-hitting catcher, grounded to short in the 3rd inning. Allen had only 1 at-bat against Fernando this year. He was 0 for 1 against him. But he gets the start. Ashby has moved around. He has hit as high as the number 5 slot in the Astro lineup. He's hitting 8th tonight. And Fernando's curveball is low, ball 1, 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes to Alan Ashby. Fernando ready, back he comes, and this time he's low and inside, ball 2 with a screwball. So he's behind Ashby, 2-0. Nolan Ryan on deck. Garner, Scott, Ryan, Cruz, and Garcia have all struck out. Now the 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball outside. So Valenzuela, who has yet to walk a man through 5 innings, is now at 3-0 behind Alan Ashby. And, of course, if he gets on, you expect Ryan to come up in a bunt situation. The crowd trying to rattle Fernando. The 3-0 pitch on the way. Down the pipe, 3-1. Gordy Platson begins to throw down in the Houston bullpen. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Fastball in there again, 3-2. Platson replacing the injured Don Sutton on the Astro roster. 3-2 to Alan Ashby. Nolan Ryan on deck. Fernando ready in the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, a fly ball to Dusty Baker in left field. Dusty waiting and makes the catch. One away. So after going 3-0 to Ashby, Valenzuela pitches from behind and finally gets him. And now Ryan. Ryan struck out in the third inning. Nolan is 0 for 1. Each pitcher with 5 strikeouts. Each has struck out the other. In the 6th inning, the Dodgers had the numbers 8, 9, and lead off. And for the Astros, the number 8, 9, and lead off. And the pitch is swung on and missed. So they are cutting this one about as even as you can. Even though the Astros have 2 hits and the Dodgers have 1. 0-1 the count. Fernando comes back to his hitter. Curveball over, strike 2. 0-2 the count to Nolan Ryan. Terry Poole is on deck. Fernando into his windup, and the strike 2 pitch to Ryan is outside with a screwball. Ball 1, 1-2. Ryan had 11 hits this year, 1 for each victory. Noli waiting, 1 ball, 2 strikes. No score in the 6th, 1 out. 1-2 pitch, screwball hits slowly to shortstop. Russell has plenty of time, sidearms to Garvey for the 2nd out. So you have 2 down in the 6th. And Terry Poole, the left-hand hitting right fielder, coming up. Terry has grounded to Garvey and rolled out to Lopes. So here's Poole. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Astros, and we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bases empty. Fernando looks in to get a sign from Socia. Now the pitch of the left-hand hitting Poole is a fastball that crowds him. Ball 1, 1-0. On deck, Phil Garner. Outfield fanned out straight away. Fernando comes back to his hitter 1-0, and on the outside corner with what appeared to be a little slider, and the count 1-1. So Fernando, with a couple of screwballs, a curveball, fastball, and slider. And he's into the windup. The 1-1 pitch to Terry Poole is pulled down the right field line, foul. He was out in front of it. Slow screwball. Pulled it foul. 1-2. For Fernando, he has allowed 3 fly balls, all of them to Dusty Baker. And a fly ball to Rick Monday. He has struck out 5. Terry Poole waiting, and Fernando's 1-2 pitch is a fastball outside, ball 2, 2-2. Don Leppert coaching at third, Bob Lillis over at first. Fernando, a long look. Mike Socia setting a target for him. Now the 2-2 pitch to Terry Poole. Screwball, line drive, base hit down the right field line. Over to cut it off is Monday, and does. A perfect throw into Bill Russell, and Terry Poole holding at first. So with 2 out, a single by Poole, that is hit number 3 for Houston, and the batter will be Phil Garner. Garner struck out and grounded out. He's 0 for 2. Phil Garner waiting now as Fernando asked for a new ball, and plate umpire Jerry Dale obliged. There are 6 umpires working the mini-series, each umpire getting $5,150 a game. The pitch, a pitch out, and it's high to Garner, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Think we should check on that? That's high, huh, for a game? Maybe 5,000 for the series, 1,000 a game. The 1-0 pitch is high, and Fernando's behind now, 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0, the count to Phil Garner. So Fernando decides to take a breather. He takes a walk behind the rubber and then all the way down to the rug, and now slowly back up on top. So with 2 out, Poole single to right, and Phil Garner with the count 2 balls and no strikes. Fernando goes to first base, and pulled back to the bag. He's already picked off Art Howe in the 5th inning. Yeah, $5,150 for the series for each umpire. That'll be $30,000 in umpiring cost. Fastball is punted behind the plate, and the count 2-1. What happened was the umpires wanted more money. And 6 umpires. The National League wanted fewer umpires, and they wound up going to the 6 umpires, and instead of the 6,000 and some odd, turns out 5,150, I believe. 2-1, the count to Garner. Terry Poole inching off the bag at first, held on by Garvey. Fernando plants the left foot. Now out of a stretch. And the 2-1 pitch to throw to first. The Astros have gotten one man to second base. And that would be Cedeno in the 2nd inning. 2-1. The count to Garner, again taking a long look at Don Leppard. Fernando set, looks at first, and decides you better go over there. Just flip the ball over to Garvey. The crowd, of course, trying to do anything and everything that might upset Fernando. But it's just a walk in the park to him, at least on the outside. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Fernando's fastball is low. Ball 3. 3-1. The count to Garner with 2 out in the 6th inning. No score. Remember, he fell behind 3-0 to Ashby and fought his way back to get him. Now he's behind to Garner 3-1. Fernando checking and set. Looks at first. 3-1 pitch. Runner goes on ball 4. Have runners at first and second with 2 out. On a single to right by Terry Poole, and the walk to Garner on the 3-1 pitch that missed. Tony Scott, the switch-hitting center fielder, batting right-handed. He struck out in the 1st inning and grounded to 3rd in the 4th. So this is the first real dramatic moment. We should have more. Fernando left foot on the rubber. Poole away from second, Garner from first with 2 outs. Fernando sat in the pitch to Tony Scott. He swung on and missed, 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Fernando has allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Ryan has allowed 1 hit, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. Fernando set. Lopes to the bag, a throw right into the sliding runner, not in time. Boy, that's some throw by Fernando. Even if Lopes didn't even bother to pick the ball up, it would have gone right in Poole's hip pocket. Perfect throw. 0-1. Tony Scott waiting. Came here from St. Louis, and the deal is sent Joaquin Andujar to the Mound City, as they call it. Now the strike 1 pitch to Tony Scott. Fernando delivers. Screwball is hit foul down the left field line. And the count 0-2. It was a screwball that was kind of dangerous. It wasn't thrown hard, and he got it up. But Scott pulled it too much, and the count 0-2. No score in the 6th inning. And tomorrow, Jerry Royce and Joe Niekro warm up at 9:45. Game time at 5 minutes past 10. Tony Scott waiting. Fernando staring into Mike Scioscia. Terry Poole away from second. Phil Garner from first. And time called as Tony Scott backs out. The Dodgers can't afford to give up any runs. They haven't done anything with Ryan. Ryan's retired the last 14 in a row. So Valenzuela out of a stretch. And the strike 2 pitch to Tony Scott. Fastball low. Ball 1. He was lulling him. He was giving a screwball here and a screwball there, and then he pulled the trigger. But the sights were downstairs, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fernando again taking a little breather. Now the young left-hander up on top and plants the left foot. Tony Scott, bat resting on his right shoulder for the moment. The switch hitter bends at the waist, slightly at the knees. 1-2 pitch, fastball, missed with it, low and inside. Ball 2. And Steve Yeager can't stand where he was, draped over the railing. Too much for him. He peels off and walks the length of the dugout. From now on, of course, there's a lot of twisting and turning in each dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 out and 2 on. No score in the 6th inning. And, of course, Fernando doesn't want to go 3-2, so this will be his best shot. He is on, and now he's off the rubber, and Scott backs out. And the crowd trying to add to Fernando's discomfort. Valenzuela from a stretch, and the 2-2 fastball is a little pop fly into shallow right center. Lopes goes out and can't get it. The run is over on a fluke double into right center field. 1-0 Houston. Dodgers 1-0. Terry Forster goes running down to the Dodger bullpen. And Tommy Lasorda going out to talk to Fernando. Tom Niedenfuer now goes down to the bullpen to join Terry Forster. So what a tough break for Fernando. A little pop fly. It looked like a dying bird trying to make it back to a tree. And Lopes twisting and turning, looking over his left shoulder, then over his right shoulder, lunged but couldn't get it. And with 2 out, Poole scored from second base. Let's pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers Radio Network.
People, issues, and events. Stay awake. Be informed. Nights, 12:05 to 5 a.m. I'm Ray Breen, KABC Los Angeles.
Coming up, and as we often explain, it sounds like booze in the background, but they're just stretching out the name Cruz. And with runners at second and third and Cedeno on deck, they're pitching to Cruz. Fastball, low, ball 1. Cruz flied to left and struck out. So a little pop fly now becomes as big as Mount Everest. And the Astros lead the Dodgers 1-0. Scott at second, Garner at third. 2 out. Fernando out of a stretch, and the 1-0 pitch is swung on, a ground ball to Garvey. He'll bring it to the bag, and the Astros get 1 run. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 left. Jerry will be long in a minute.
Well, we go to the 7th inning now, and it means the Dodgers now must make 2 runs off Nolan Ryan if they're going to win this ball game, at least 2. And it will start with Landreau, Baker, and Garvey, and the only hit in the game for the Dodgers, a first-inning single by Landreau up the middle, and he was rubbed out on a double play. And Ryan, since then, has retired 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 men in a row as Landreau comes to bat in the 7th inning with a 1-0 lead. First-inning single by Landreau up the middle, and he was rubbed out on a double play. And Ryan, since then, has retired 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 men in a row as Landreau comes to bat in the 7th inning with a 1-0 lead. A little pop fly that just eluded the grasp of Davy Lopes, who was turning and twisting into the outfield and couldn't come up with it, and it fell just beside his glove, and the run was in. So Tony Scott had had only 3 hits against the Dodgers all year, able to pick up a big one there. Landreau fouls one away, strike 1. The way Ryan has been throwing out there, he has been marvelous again, just as he was on the previous time the Dodgers saw him here in the Dome last Saturday, a week ago. So they got to really get something going. Fernando wasn't too lucky there to have that ball drop in on him. He made a good pitch on Scott. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Landreau. Inside, bounces away, and it's ball one, strike one to Kenny. So a marvelous pitching duel. The key to the inning might have been the ball four that he gave to Garner. Walked Garner with 2 out, and Poole had singled, hit a soft breaking ball into right field with 2 out, and then the walk to Garner set it up. The 1-1 pitch to Landreau. Fouled on the ground, strike 2. So Landreau's behind the count, 1-2. The only Dodger hit, Landreau's single in the first inning. Clean single up through the middle. Day game tomorrow. Warm-up time will be 9:45 tomorrow morning. And the Dodgers home Friday. 1:05 at Dodger Stadium. The 1-2 pitch to Landreau. Outside for a ball. 2-2. Ryan has walked 1 and has struck out 4. Make it 5. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Landreau swings and misses at a curveball. Strike 3. So 6 strikeouts for Ryan. Ryan has really been blazing lately. He has 3 complete games in his last 3 starts, with an earned run average of 1.3 over those last 3. And of his 21 starts during the year, Ryan allowed 1 or no earned runs in 14 of them. So to say the least, the Dodgers have a lot of work to do. He was 10-1 in those 14 games. The pitch to Baker, breaking ball low, ball 1. Opposing batters had a combined batting average of 187 against Ryan all year, and 169 here in the Dome. Baker looks at a curve, 1-1. So he has really been something, Nolan Ryan. Of course, he's perhaps one of the highest-paid players in the game, and the Astros getting their money's worth out of Nolan in his second year here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 man out. Ryan trying to blank the Dodgers in back-to-back outings. There's a drive into right field, and Poole is right in his tracks to wait for this one. 2 out. Oh, they're not doing a thing with Ryan. 16 in a row retired by Nolan since he walked Monday in the second inning. The Dodgers have had only 2 base runners and only 1 over the regulation because Baker followed Landreau's base hit with a double play ball. Here's Garvey at bat, flied to right and grounded back to the pitcher. Well, the Astros got a run after 2 out. The Dodgers have hope, trying to get something going against Ryan. Another thing that makes Ryan so tough is that he does not give up home runs. There's a long drive to left center field. This one is well hit. Going forward to Scott. This ball is off the top of the wall. Here's Garvey. It's a home run. I think the umpire is calling home run, and Garvey's going to slide into third base, but it's a home run for Garvey. The umpire at second base going into the outfield to call that ball. It hit above the orange line, came back into play, and just as he said Ryan had allowed 2 home runs, he now has allowed 3. As Garvey ties it up with a smash over the center fielder's head, up over the orange line that separates the playing area from the home run area. And that one is out of here, and the Dodgers have caught up on Garvey's home run. Only the 3rd home run off Ryan all year. And Garvey really nailed that one, and the Dodgers are even again. The ball hit above the orange line and came back, and the Dodgers were not sure whether it was in play or not, but second base umpire McSherry, Davidson was out there signaling home run. McSherry's working a third. Davidson, the second base umpire. Here's Mundy at bat. So Garvey strikes for the home run to center field. Here's the pitch on the way to Mo. A drive in the left field. Coming up is Cruz, and he's got it for the out. Mundy hit it hard, but right to Cruz, and we're gone in the 7th inning. A run on Garvey's home run, and none left on, and the score going to the bottom of the 7th, all even at 1-1. By Steve Garvey. The ball game is tied up, and the Union Auto Company pleased to present a $50 book of Union Auto Strip to the Adelaide Christian Home for Children on Overland Avenue in Culver City. Well, we'll go along now with Cedeno, Howe, and Garcia in a ball game all even as Steve Garvey wallops one. That is only the 3rd home run the Dodgers have hit against the Astros all year. Make it the 4th. Sachs had 1, and Landreau had 2. The last out by Mundy was a line drive to left field, caught in left center by Cruz. Here's Cedeno at bat now as we play in the bottom of the 7th. A 1-1 tie. Cedeno has single stole a base and flied out. 4 hits for the Astros, 2 for the Dodgers. Garvey's home run tied it up. All right, Cedeno at bat, and at third, Guerrero's right on the line, but he's up even with the bag to guard against the bunt from Caesar. Fastball is outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Cedeno, right-hand hitting first baseman. And Fernando delivers screwball, grounded third base way just inside the line. Here's taking the play back in, and Cedeno's on his way for 2 with a slide. Guerrero was playing right on the line, and the ball went right by him. So Cedeno doubles to begin the bottom of the 7th inning. And the batter will be coming on with a runner at second base here in the 7th inning. Guerrero was on the line. I don't know how that ball got by him. He was guarding the line, and it went right past him, right under his glove. He didn't get the glove down far enough to knock it down. So Cedeno doubles inside third. Here is Art Howe at bat, who has singled to right and flied to right. So Fernando, beginning actually in the 5th inning, he has wavered just a little bit. And in the 6th inning, a little bit more. And now a leadoff double by Cedeno here in the 7th inning. And the Dodgers get the bullpen busy with Stewart and Howe warming up down there. A 1-1 tie in the last of the 7th. 5 hits now off Fernando. Here's the pitch on the way to Howe. Low for a ball. Guerrero was up looking for a bunt, but Garvey is back. So the Dodgers haven't got their defense set up right. One is in looking for the bunt, the other one is back. Garvey not looking for the bunt, he's playing way back. And time, well, now Scioscia's going to step out and show no outs. And now see if they're going to move Garvey or Guerrero. One of them's up and one of them's back. Guerrero looking bunt and Garvey's not. All right, here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Art Howe. Fly ball to the right field. Bundy coming for it. Makes a good running catch for the out. Great catch by Moore. He caught it knee high on a sinking line drive to right field by Art Howe. So Howe taking a shot to right field, and Mundy able to come up and get it. And here is Kiko Garcia, the shortstop. Grounded out and struck out in 2 trips up. The Astros run came from an unexpected source, Tony Scott, who had really been flailing away against the Dodgers this year. But he booped one into right field that fell for a base hit to drive in the run. But Garvey wasted no time in getting the Dodgers even in the 7th. Garcia at bat, Cedeno on second. Here's the pitch. Curve up high, ball 1. As we said, Fernando hasn't looked as sharp in the last couple of innings as he did earlier in the game. Ryan hasn't lost hardly anything except the one pitch to Garvey, who belted it to center field for the home run. All right, 1 ball and no strikes. Garcia waits the pitch. Popped up foul off first base, might be close. Garvey at the dugout railing, leans across, can't get it. It's on top of the roof. So Garvey goes over, says hello to the Astros, and has to come on back. 1 ball, 1 strike to Garcia. Hitting .272. No home runs, 15 runs batted in. Cedeno at second. Led off the inning with a double down the third baseline. One out, 1 on. 7th inning, a great ball game. Ryan and Valenzuela here in the opener of the series. Here's the 1-1 look. And the pitch to the plate, runner going to third, a fly ball to center field. Going forward is Landro, still going a long way to go. Makes the catch for the out. Cedeno scampers back. Landro was playing rather shallow, and he really had to go to get that one. Garcia almost hit it over his head. Landro at the last minute catching up with that ball, and Cedeno, who was going to steal third, had to get back. Oh, that was close. Landro racing back to haul that one down. 2 down, and here's Alan Ashby at bat. On open base, and Ryan, the pitcher, due up next. I doubt if they fool around with Ashby. They're going to give him 4 wide ones and put him on and pitch to Ryan. So Ashby's going to get the silk glove treatment, 4 wide ones. And Ryan will will be the hitter. Try and help himself in this ball game. Ball 2 down to Ashby. An intentional walk. And Fernando trying to get out of a tight spot after a leadoff double by Cedeno. Boy, they're making a lot of noise indoors, and when they make noise indoors, it is really magnified because it hits the ceiling and comes back. All right, now then, Fernando can't afford to let up against Ryan, who's a good hitter. Nolan had 11 hits for the year. 1 RBI and 1 double. Ryan tonight has struck out and grounded to short. So here's Ryan at tie with 2 on and 2 out in the 7th inning. Runner going to third, and Cedeno steals while Fernando standing on the mound. So Cedeno steals third while Fernando is standing on the mound. Well, that's spectacular, but whether it does any good or not, we won't know. So Fernando is standing on the mound and is back to... Tommy's going out again to talk to him. He goes out now. He's going to have to take him out. Tommy's been out there once this inning. Tommy Lasorda going out to talk to Fernando. And tell him not to mind Cedeno, who stole third base while Fernando stood behind the rubber with the ball. And now the Dodgers will talk to Fernando. They don't worry about it. And Lasorda comes jogging on back. And now he'll pitch to Ryan. Cedeno has always been a colorful base runner. He likes to do the unexpected. All right, here's the look now as he gets set to pitch to Ryan with runners at first and third. The pitch to Ryan. There's a little high, ball 1. 1-0 the count, 2 on, runners on the corners. That's Cedeno steals for the second time. Here's the look from the pitch to Ryan. Ground ball behind second. Lope makes the play into Russell in time. Good play by Lope. That ball was headed up the middle. Davey flagged it down, fed Russell, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left on. The score at the end of 7 is all even at 1-1.
Consumer Reports and much, much more Monday through Saturday from 5:15 to 9 a.m. Join the zany and unpredictable Ken and Bob Company on Talk Radio 79 KABC Los Angeles.
Well, we go to the 8th inning now with Guerrero, Socha, and Russell in Fernando's spot. And Steve Howe begins to throw in the Dodger bullpen, so if they get somebody on, they might go for a hitter for Fernando if they get a chance to score. Guerrero has flied out and grounded and struck out in 2 tries, so he is 0 for 2. Pedro hitting .300, 12 home runs, 48 RBIs, 13 hits against the Astros for the year. Here's the pitch to him from Ryan, a swing and a miss, strike 1. So Guerrero going after a fastball. The Dodgers have 1 run, 2 hits, and the Astros have 1 run and 5 hits. No errors in the game. Here's Ryan's pitch on the way to Pedro. Breaking ball is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 count. Socha due up next. A single by Landro and a home run by Garvey, the total for the Dodgers. Big crowd in the Dome in game 1 of the series. The 1-1 pitch. Curve strike. 1 and 2. Guerrero backs out behind the count. Steve Howe getting ready to work in the Dodger bullpen. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fly ball to left field. Cruz sliding over to left center field. Long way to go for that ball. Makes the catch on the warning track. So 3 balls in a row have been hit far by the Dodgers. 1 went clear out of here. Mundy's drive was caught, and Guerrero's drive is caught. So we have 1 away, and here's Socha. He flies deep to right field. His last time up. But it's a big ballpark, and not too many home runs given up here. Cruz catching that ball halfway into the warning track in left center field. Socha 0 for 2 and 2 for 30 over the full year against the Astros. Grounds 1 to the right side. Up with it, Cedeno runs to the bag in time, and we have 2 down. So a two-away with Billy Russell coming up. Fouled out and grounded out. Russell is 0 for 2, hitting .233. Ryan has almost completely shackled the Dodgers. And Fernando has kept the Astros pretty well at bay, although the last couple of innings he's been a little bit shaky in the 6th and in the 7th. Although in the 6th, when they scored the run, he might have gotten out, except a pop fly fell in behind second base. Here's the windup and the pitch to Russell. Fastball at the knees, strike called. Darrell Thomas has a bat in his hand and is walking toward the near end of the dugout, but Fernando's out on deck. All right, here is Ryan ready, and the pitch on the way. Breaking ball low, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. First of 2 here in Houston, and if it goes to the full 5, the final 3 games are scheduled for Dodger Stadium. Russell waiting, a 1-1 count, 2 outs, and the pitch. Breaking ball high, 2-1. Fernando hoping to get a chance to swing the bat, but he may not. Depends on Russell. 2-1 the count. And the pitch on the way to Billy. Foul back up the screen. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Ryan ready to go. Looking in to Ashby for a sign, and the pitch on the way to Russell. Curveball popped up foul, out of play. There's not much room for foul balls to be caught here in the Dome. The foul lines and the home plate area come right close to the stands. Large areas are in Atlanta, San Francisco, and Los Angeles for foul balls. But here in Houston, not much room. Okay, 2-2. Pitch on the way. Outside, ball 3. The Astros were breaking for the dugout as Russell took that curveball, but it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. If Russell gets on, Lasorda will have a decision to make. Will he hit for Valenzuela or let him go up there and try to keep the inning alive? He makes the last out, just start at the top in the 9th anyway. 3-2 pitch. Fly ball to center field, shallow. Scott coming on, he's there. And the inning is over. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning with a score, all even at 1-1. The 8th inning, the Astros will have Poole, Garner, and Scott coming on against Fernando. And the Dodgers are going to have Stewart and Castillo. And maybe Howe go down there and warm up with Castillo as the backup man to protect them. Fernando working to the top of the batting order. It'll be Poole, Garner, and Scott. Only one other game played today in the big leagues. That playoff game at Kansas City went to Oakland by a score of 4-0. Tomorrow we'll have a full slate of games, though. Philadelphia plays at Montreal in the National League East playoffs. And in the American League, Kansas City and Oakland again at Kansas City, and New York Yankees will be at Milwaukee to begin their series. So 2 teams start today, 2 games in each league to start today, and a full slate of 4 games tomorrow. Here's Terry Poole, singled and scored in the 6th inning. Pulled one into right field. Poole is 1 for 3, grounded out his other times. And now Fernando ready to go into the top of the order. When the Dodgers bat in the 9th inning, Fernando's due to lead off. We have a 1-1 tie. And Fernando to Poole, the first pitch on the way. Bunt try, he missed it, strike 1. So Poole running up to bunt it, let it go by. Strike 1 count. 0-1 to Terry. He's out of Canada. Didn't play ball as a youngster. Fastball, strike called on the inside corner. 0-2 the count to Terry Poole with Garner on deck and Scott to follow. Fernando ready to go, and the pitch on the way. Just missed outside with a fastball. 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strike count. Bob Nepper throwing a little bit in the bullpen due to pitch on Friday. The pitch. Looks to the right, base hit, got a fastball in on the hand, and Poole is on with his 2nd hit of the game. So So the ninth inning begins as the left-hand batter gets his second hit. And that'll bring up Garner with Scott to follow. Garner walked his last time up, and now they'll look for a bunt from him. So Poole got a fastball that he could pull a little bit. It was inside on the inside part of the plate. And he pulled it to right field for hit number 6 off Fernando. Here's Garner at bat, and the Dodgers now looking bunt. As Guerrero is in at third, Garvey ready to push off at first base. Here's a look and a throw over there. Poole is back. So again, Fernando for the third straight time is in jeopardy. In the 7th inning, Cedeno led off with a double, but they left him there. Here's the pitch. Garner bunts in the air, first base way. Garvey will play a foul ball. So it rolls out foul, and Garvey picked it up there to give it back to Fernando. Strike one. Runner on first, Garner. With a Poole with Garner at bat. And Guerrero saying something to Fernando at the mound. Garner back into the batter's box, and again Guerrero's up at third base, way in on the line, and a throw to first, not in time. Poole gets back. One on and nobody out in the 8th inning, last half. Here's the stretch again, the look, and the pitch to Garner, butted in the air, and it drops untouched foul. Garvey made a long run for the ball, but couldn't get to it. So it is strike 2 to Garner. Trying to bunt, can't get it down. All right, Fernando trying to get by Garner with Scott due up next. First, Fernando ready to pitch to Garner, just outside for ball 1 and 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Poole a short lead away from Garvey, and the arm stretch again on the look, and a throw to first base, and he's back. One ball, 2 strikes. Fernando slowing down the pace a bit here as we're in the bottom of the 8th inning with the leadoff man aboard. 1-1 tie in the first game. Here's the pitch. Kind of a fly ball in the right field, not too deep. Mundy right there to wait, make the catch for the out, and we'll pause for station identification. This is the Los Angeles Dodgers Radio Network.
Join us for news, plus the zany and the unpredictable. Mornings 5:15 to 9 a.m. The Cannonball Company, KABC, Los Angeles.
Here's Tony Scott at bat. It was Scott who had a little blooper behind Lopes into right field that fell for a base hit. And that got the run in for the Astros in the 6th inning. Scott 1 for 3 tonight. Here's the pitch. Half swing, bouncer back to the box. Fernando goes to second base, 1, and there's no other play. A good heady play by Fernando. He knew exactly what he was going to do with that ball when he got it. So Scott on a check swing hits into a force out as Russell takes the throw at second base. And here's Cruz at bat. Fernando made a good accurate throw to Russell. Cruz has struck a flat out, struck out and grounded out. Jose Cruz hitting .267. 13 home runs, 55 RBIs. 9 for 42 against the Dodgers. Throw to first, and Scott hops back on the bag. Now let's see about Scott as a base hitter. 18 times successful. He's been caught 10. So Scott getting a short lead. Last half of the 8th inning. A 1-1 tie. Fernando ready. The look and the pitch on the way to Cruz is low. Ball 1. Cedeno's on deck. 1-0 the count. Howe and Stewart in the Dodger pen. Nepper still getting in some work along the right field line for the Astros. He's going to pitch Friday against Bob Welch. Here's the 1-0 look, and again a throw to first, just a lob that time, as Scott was back on the bag easily. Check again, the look, and the pitch. High pop foul out of play, 1-1. So Cruz fouls it away. 1 ball, 1 strike. We have not had an announcement on the attendance tonight, but it's a whopper here in Houston. Good crowd. Somehow they will not be sold out for the noon game. All right, a 1-1 count. The pitch to Cruz. Curve is just outside. He started to offer, let it go by. Ball 2, 2-1. And that time Fernando had Scott, the runner, going back to the bag at first. Here's the stretch. Cruz waiting. Another throw to first. Just a flip over there. He lobbed it. When he sees the runners on the bag, he just kind of tosses it over there to Garvey. All right, Scott off the bag. The 2-1 look. And again a throw. This time he burns it over there. 2-1. Jose Cruz, the cleanup man. Fernando ready. And he has Scott leaning and throws over there, and Scott gets back. He already picked off 1 runner. He got Howe picked off in the 5th inning. All right, Cruz is going to take a little walk, and Fernando wants a new ball. Well, today in baseball, 1980, the Dodgers with Dave Gholst taking the loss, beaten by the Astros 7-1 in a 1-game playoff for the championship of the National League West. That was a year ago today at Dodger Stadium. Well, here we are again, the Dodgers and the Astros all even. Here's the 2-1 look. And the pitch. Half swing foul to the left. 2-2. 1978 this date, the Dodgers lost the League Championship Series game to the Phillies 9-4 when Steve Carlton, the winner, drove in 4 runs with a 3-run homer and a single off Don Sutton. The Dodgers went on to win the series in 1978 against the Phillies. All right, a 2-2-2 situation. Here's the pitch. Here's the runner going. Strike 3 call to Cruz, so it doesn't make any difference. Cruz is called out on strikes to retire the side. Strikeout number 6 for Fernando, and the Astros are gone in the 8th, no runs, 1 hit, and they leave a man. The score going to the 9th inning, all even at 1-1. Well, part of this pitching duel tonight between Ryan and Valenzuela has ended because Valenzuela is coming out of the game for a pinch hitter. Jay Johnstone will bat for him in the 9th inning, so Fernando worked 8 innings, allowed 1 run and 6 hits. He struck out 6 and walked 2. And Stewart now is throwing alone in the Dodger pen along the left field line. Johnstone will come on as the hitter. For Jay, over the full year, he hit .205. And Ryan now ready to go to Johnstone. Got 11 hits as a pinch hitter and 3 RBI, 3 home runs. Jay takes a strike from Ryan. Johnstone, it'll be Lopes and then Landreau as we play in the 9th. Ryan has allowed 2 hits. Here's a number back to the box, off the end of the bat. Ryan throws him out, 1 away. So Johnstone bounces out. And Davey Lopes will be the batter. It looks like Stewart's going to be the pitcher. All right, Lopes at bat, and Davey tonight has grounded out, lined out to first, and struck out. Now Lopes batting now against Ryan in the 9th inning. Noli into the windup, and the pitch on the way. Check swing on a curve, strike. 0-1 the count. So Ryan and Valenzuela has advertised a brilliant duel, a 1-1 tie. But Fernando goes for a hitter. Ryan is due to bat 5th in the bottom of the 9th inning, but there's no one throwing behind him in the Houston pen. Here's the pitch on the way to Lopes. Check swing on a curve outside for a ball. 1-1 to Davey. Landreau is on deck. Lopes waiting again. Ryan to the windup, and the pitch. Curve is in off his shoulder. Ball 2. 2-1. Boy, these teams really play them close. They've had a lot of dandy games down through the years. The 2-1 pitch to Davy, foul back, 2-2. The Dodgers have split the 6 here, but they won 5 out of 6 in Dodger Stadium. They would like to get a split here and go home and take their chances. Of course, 2 would be the desirable note, but I think they would settle for a split. And they're in hang-in time here tonight. Tomorrow will be Royce and Necro in Game 2. Davy looks at strike 3 call. 7 strikeouts for Ryan, 2 down, and Landro will be the batter. So Ryan hasn't budged. The only flaw, home run by Garvey to center field in the 7th inning. Landro, the batter, singled in the 1st inning for the only other Dodger hit. Cedeno backs up at first base, plays a little closer to the line against Landro. Howe is in at third and also close to the line to stay out of an extra base hit situation. Landro bounces one over the mound behind second. Garcia there, a big hop, throws, gets it. So Ryan turns the Dodgers back 1, 2, 3 in the 9th. They go to the bottom of the 9th with the score tied 1-1. Nice be due to follow them. So here is Dave Stewart, 4 wins, 3 losses, earned run average of 2.51, and he had 6 saves. Dave gets the call here against the Astros in the last of the 9th inning to take over for Fernando. But a big crowd in here, 44,836 to see this one tonight. And of course the Astros have it in their favor now as they have their last turn at bat. And the Dodgers trying to hold him and get another shot at him if we have a 10th inning. Baker, Garvey, and Monday against Ryan. Okay, for Dave Stewart, who made the Dodger team at the last cut after spring training, now in probably his biggest appearance of his career. Here's a pitch on the way to Cedeno. Fastball for a strike on the inside corner. Dave trying to stay ahead of him. Guerrero right on top of the line at third. He was there in the 7th inning, but Cedeno whistled it right under his glove. Hard to believe Cedeno could hit one by Guerrero the way he was positioned on the line before, but now he's going to back up a little bit. Here's the pitch. And Cedeno bluffed a bunt, takes strike 2. So he saw Guerrero back up, faked the bunt, had him on the move, but he let it go by, and he's down to hole 0-2. So Guerrero can back up again now. Strike 2 to Cedeno in the bottom of the 9th inning, and a 1-1 tie in the first game of the series. That's pretty good for openers, isn't it? Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. Half swing, struck him out. Cedeno down on strike. He tried to hold up. He'd gone too far. He stopped to check with the umpire, and he said, Jerry Dell said, see you later. So Cedeno strikes out, and here's Art Howe, who has 1 for 3 in the game tonight. Howe playing third base, hitting .296. Dave Smith begins to throw in the bullpen for the Astros. Right-hand pitcher. The on-deck hitter is Garcia, who could be listed now for a pinch hitter. Here's the pitch on the way to Howe. Fouled away. He was jammed with a fastball. Fouled it upstairs off behind the Astro dugout. Strike 1. Dave Stewart, the batter. One strike count. Last half of the 9th inning, 1 out and a tie ball game. Here's the pitch. Curveball fouled away. Strike 2. 0-2 the count. Stewart making his 32nd appearance. Howe leads the staff with 41. All right, 0-2 the count to Howe. Tosha down to give out the sign. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way. High for ball, 1-2. A 1-2 reading to Art Howe. Had a great year, 23-game hitting streak in the first half, got him way up there. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fly ball in the right center field. Landro on the run. He's calling. He's got it. Howe hit it well, but Landro covers a lot of ground out there and made the catch on that one. So there are 2 down with Garcia due up and being called back, I think, yes. He was put in there because the left-hand pitcher was pitching, and now that we have a right-hander in there, we'll see who's going to hit for him. Whether it'll be Reynolds or he'll stay in at shortstop, we'll wait and see. It's going to be Reynolds. He will bat. And if we go to the 10th, he will stay in the game. Reynolds batting in the 9th. So Craig Reynolds comes on. A .260 batting average for Craig this year with 4 home runs, 31 runs batted in, but more importantly, he had 12 triples. And that tied him for the league lead in 3 base hits. So Reynolds will come on. Reynolds and Richards of San Diego had 12 triples. So with 2 out, here's Craig Reynolds coming up. And left-hand batter Ashby is on deck. He's a switch hitter. Or I should say he would hit left-handed against Stewart in case Reynolds does get aboard. 2 down in the 9th inning. The Dodger run a home run by Garvey. Astro run a pop fly. Here's a swing and a foul. That one off the mask of Socia. Put a dent in it. Strike 1. 0-1 the count. A dandy ball game here tonight. Well, that's about what we expected to see. Low scoring, excellent pitching by the 2 of the standouts in the league, Nolan Ryan and Fernando Valenzuela. Stambito now is going to be in the bullpen along with Smith in case they decide to make a change. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Reynolds. Taken high for a ball, 1-1. Steve Howe up again in the Dodger pen in left field. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 out, nobody on in the 9th. Tied. And the windup and the pitch on the way to Reynolds. Ground ball up the middle. Center field for a base hit. So Reynolds bounces one just to the left of the mound through the middle. And that is hit number 7 for the Astros and brings on Ashby, who has grounded out, flied out, and walked as a right-hand batter. He was walked intentionally. He will now turn around and bat from the left side. And Ashby, as a left-hand hitter, 265 average. 300 as a right-hand batter. But as a left-hand batter, 3 home runs, 29 runs batted in. Alan Ashby. Here's a throw to first base by Stewart. Reynolds hops back on the bag. Reynolds as a base stealer. He's 3 for 6. All right, Stewart ready to work to Ashby. The pitch on the way. High fly ball, deep right field, down in the corner. Mundy going toward this ball. It's going to be gone. Home run Ashby, and the Astros win. It's a towering fly ball deep in the stands in right field, and the Astros beat the Dodgers by a score of 3-1. They're shooting off the rockets here at the Astrodome, and a jubilant fans giving Ashby a standing ovation as he gets back into the dugout. And the home run by Ashby with Reynolds after a 2-out pinch single. Turn it around. And that's the step for the Dodgers for this one. Again as he comes out for a post-game television appearance. Hit that home run deep into the right field stands. And the Astros have taken the lead in the series by a score of 3-1. And they do it with 2 away. as they did their last run in the 6th inning. A single by Poole, a walk, and a pop fly by Scott. And for the Astros to win, 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. And for the Dodgers, 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. And that was quite a ball game as Alan Ashby really came dancing around the bases as he hit that home run and gives the Astros 1-up in the series as Nolan Ryan gets the win and Dave Stewart gets the loss. So tomorrow it'll be game 2 with Jerry Royce against Phil Niekro at 9:45 tomorrow. Once again, the final score, the Astros 3 and the Dodgers 1.
The Dodger post-game show. Stay with us. We'll bring you the highlights of tonight's game. We'll take you down to the field for an interview with Steve Garvey. And we'll bring you up to date on the other game today that was played in the American League. Here's the question. How many games have you won when you've gotten only 2 hits? And at least for the moment, they know the answer is not many, if any, at all. Because in the cold reality of the aftermath of the ball game, that's all the Dodgers had, 2 hits. A first-inning single by Kenny Landreau, and then the home run in the 7th inning by Steve Garvey after Nolan Ryan had retired 16 in a row. You're not going to win many with just 1 run. You're rarely going to win many with 2 hits, and the Dodgers are indeed a case in point. For Fernando Valenzuela, he pitched great, and the best thing to say about him was he wasn't involved with the decision. For Nolan Ryan, he was magnificent again, and he got the victory. Dave Stewart, who came in to pitch the bottom of the 9th inning, got the first 2 outs, then gave up the single to Craig Reynolds, and Alan Ashby, who was telling us before the game, Long Beach has a hospital. That's where I was born, but I'm really from San Pedro. Well, he's also really from Houston. They love him, and they love him particularly tonight. It was Ashby's home run upstairs. He hit the ball hard and high and deep. The only question was whether it be fair or foul. It was fair by plenty. And the Astros have the big jump. They lead the Dodgers 1-0 in the best 3 out of 5. It'll be Jerry Royce and Joe Niekro tomorrow. Remember, warm up at 9:45, game time at 5 after 10. I don't know what's tougher. Do you want to go on the post-game show as a member of the losing team, or do you want to hit against Nolan Ryan? Well, our guest did both tonight, Steve Garvey. And let's visit with him and go to Roy.
Thank you, Vin. It was a bitter defeat, Steve, but a well-played ball game by both sides, I thought.
It was a very good game. Again, Ryan was on. We got 2 hits, 1 early and 1 later on, the home run that tied the game. But I think it was a well-played game. And when you get to the bottom of the 9th and afterwards, the home team has that 1-run advantage. They can end it in sudden death, and that's what happened tonight.
You've been in so many postseason games. In fact, this is the first National League playoff game the Dodgers have ever lost on the road. That's about the big advantage, the bottom of the 9th inning in a tie game in it. Otherwise, could you just about throw out the home field advantage?
I think you could, because the adrenaline is there for both teams. I think, although the crowd for the home team is with them, we have a veteran team that neutralizes that. I think Fernando, in not knowing English, turns that crowd around a lot of times, and he says, hey, they're cheering for me, which I think is great. He pitched another good game tonight. Some good defensive plays by both teams, but I think Ryan's fastball was much better tonight and it was overpowering.
Was it better than the no-hitter?
It was better than no-hitter. He didn't have as effective a curveball, which made us sit on the fastball more, and I think you saw some balls hit better tonight. I think Sosa hit one, Guerrero hit one, and I fortunately
you crunched yours.
Oh, it was a 2-iron. I was able to hit the... again, I think we hit the ball better tonight, but with the same result.
Did you know that ball was above the orange line?
I was just running as hard as I could, because a lot of times it's deceiving. An umpire may have trouble judging whether it hit the line above or beyond, but it ricocheted off very strongly. Above the orange line is cement. So once I hit second base, I was hoping they would signal home run and get us back in the game.
The last game the Dodgers played here a week ago Sunday, you hit a ball very well to about the same spot, but it was caught.
Well, again, in this situation, I'm going for a home run because we were down by a run. It's after the 6th inning, and we have to get back in the game. And against Nolan, I looked for a fastball, got it, and then hit it.
Was there any doubt in your mind that Ashby's ball was going to be fair?
As we were talking, I knew it was far enough. I was hoping it would hook, which a lot of times balls do that, especially with a right-handed pitcher or a left-handed hitter. They come through it and hook it. ball just stayed straight, and he got a tremendous home run, very timely one, and ended the night for us.
If there's any consolation of this game, it is that it's a quick turnaround. You're back out here in about 14 hours to start game 2. In that game, you're going to go against the knuckleball pitcher in Joe Necro. Quite an adjustment or not after seeing the fastballs of Ryan tonight?
A little more pleasant simply because we'll have a little time to adjust at the plate. We won't have that really short reaction time. Joe was off a little bit the other day. I hope he is still in that rhythm of being off a little bit, but if he has an effective knuckleball, he can be very difficult. He's one of the better pitchers in the league, quite a contrast to Nolan Ryan, but I think tomorrow we're going to come back and just throw everything at him because we know tonight we played a very good game. We came out on the short end, and tomorrow won't even it up.
And Jerry Royce, over the last couple of years, has pitched very well against Houston, hasn't he?
He has. He's pitched well against everybody. Aside from being a good friend and a great teammate, he's been one of the best pitchers in the National League, probably one of the best three the last 2 years. And I really want him out there tomorrow in a situation where we have to win.
What is the tip-off to a good Royce game? Keeping the ball down?
A lot of ground balls, some broken bats, and a very quick type of game in which he's not throwing a lot of pitches, in which he's over the plate and his ball runs, and that's when it's very difficult to hit.
Steve, do you think we'll see any kind of a change as far as the Dodger philosophy is tomorrow? Will we see maybe more hit and runs with Necro? He doesn't hold runners on that well, does he?
No, he doesn't. I think, again, the key is to get guys on, and you will see more of that. Tom knows that in a situation like a short series with this team, we can be aggressive because we're a contact team. Now we have to get guys on and make things happen. Steve, a great home run tonight, and maybe it'll turn around tomorrow. Thanks a lot for the visit. Always a pleasure. Thank you. Steve Garvey's been our guest.
The Doc. On the scoreboard, of course, as we get into the championship series, first to decide the West, and of course the same story over in the American League. There was one game played today. The Oakland A's playing Kansas City, and of course Oakland, the second best team as far as win and loss behind Cincinnati. And Oakland shut out Kansas City 4-0. 4 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors for Oakland. And for Kansas City, no runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. Norris went all the way to win it. Leonard, getting relief from Martin in the 9th inning, suffered the loss. Home runs by Oakland. Gross hit a 3-run home run in the 4th inning. That turned out to be the big blow. And then Dwayne Murphy homered in the 8th inning for Oakland. So the Oakland A's beat Kansas City 4-0 in the first game to decide the American League West. Tomorrow is a very big day. The Dodgers are here at Houston. Warm-up time is at 9:45. Game time at 5 after 10. And in that game, it'll be Jerry Royce going against Joe Necro. Meanwhile, Philadelphia at Montreal. That'll be a 10 a.m. game time as the National League East gets underway. The American League East getting underway. The Yankees will be at Milwaukee, and that'll be a 5 p.m. game time. And I would think 5 p.m. at Milwaukee, the first week in October, there ought to be a nip in the air, to say the least, for that one. And in their second meeting, it'll be Oakland at Kansas City. That'll be a noon game time. We'll check tonight's highlights right after this message.
Well, Nolan Ryan has really done a job on the Dodgers in 2 games. He's picked up 2 wins and allowed 1 run and 2 hits in the 2 ball games, and he allowed all of that tonight. The last game, of course, was the no-hitter. And here tonight, the Dodgers got rid of the no-hitter in the first inning as Landreau singled to center field, but then Baker bounced into double play.